guys, so just to recap, I just bring the car in because it started to rain, so I backed it up into the garage. But just to recap, we done a carby clean on the inlet manifold, and then the car started to shake, and then it died, and then it stalled. It wouldn't start back up. We done a couple of tests which resulted in us finding out that the coil on the distributor was faulty, so we quickly put a new one in, started up, and it ran fine. So all that's left now is just to put the airbox and the snorkel back on, and then warm her up, put a bit of this motor flush, and then we can continue on doing an engine service on this car. Alright, so I'll just let the engine warm up for about 5 minutes. I'll take it around the block, give it a good pounding, and then I'll bring it back into the garage. I'll put it on the jack stands, and then I'll drop the oil. Alright, so just taking the car for a quick test drive. Got the engine hot, so we're just going to get the Abro Moto Flush and put it into the valve cover here, and then start her up again, and it will cycle through the pan, the pickup, the filter, and all the oil galleries, the head. It'll clean around the cams and stuff like that, so I'll give it a nice flush, and then we'll jack up the car, put it on the stands, and then we'll drop the oil finally and change the oil filter. Okay, so not sure if you can see in there, but yeah, the oil is pretty black. So yeah, not too sure when this was last changed, but it's pretty good that we're doing it. Alright, so I got the funnel. Better be safe than sorry. So I'm just going to tip it in. Just going to start the car. Alright, so we're just going to let the car idle for about 3 minutes. I'm going to jack up the car, put it on jack stands, and then I'll switch off the car, and then we'll drop the oil. Right, so there's certain places where you can jack up the car with a trolley jack. You can jack it up here where this point is, because that's reinforced. You can jack it up on this subframe here, so here or here, or you can jack it up from your traditional jacking point here. So because I have the trolley jack handy, I'm just going to use the trolley jack it up, lift it up, and put jack stands on both sides to be more safe. Right, so now that we got the car safely jacked up on jack stands, we can go underneath now. Alright, so we're underneath the car now, and this is my first time having a good look underneath the car. Still pretty good condition, no leaks at all. You know, you get a little bit here, but I'm pretty sure that's from the previous oil change. Who knows? But it's absolutely dry. Normally there's some leaks for this age, and normally you get like a remain seal leak here, but no, it's pretty good. Normally the boots are all torn, but it's still soft. A bit of surface rust on the subframe and on the arm, but yeah, the exhaust. But you know, for the age, normally you see at least the CB boots torn. Yeah, it's a pretty mint. Alright, so back to it. There's a sump plug there, so we'll just undo that, drain the oil, and the oil filter is right there, back there. Pretty silly design, because when you take off the oil filter, the oil drips down here, runs down, and it pretty much, yeah, that's what happens. A little bit of the oil gets onto the manifold, but we'll just degrease that. So I'm just gonna get the oil pan and here we'll drop the oil. All right, quick tip for you guys. If you don't want to get your garage floor dirty, use a bit of garbage bag. So I just rip mine up and just place it on the floor because you're gonna get splashback, and you don't want if you don't want to clean up your garage floor. Right, so we're just gonna go ahead and loosen the sump plug now. It's a 17 mil, so just grab your spanner. Just give it a bit of a crack. Position your little catcher there, and you're gonna be super quick. I'll move back so my GoPro doesn't get oil, and drop it down like that. Just quickly adjust it. So oil's pretty black. Like I said, a couple of drops over there, so lucky I had the plastic sheeting. So it's pretty, yeah, it's pretty black. So we'll just let that drain for a little bit, and then I'll take off the oil filter. Right, so that's just starting to drip a little bit. So I'm just gonna put the sump plug back in, wipe it down, and then I'm gonna take off the oil filter, and then I'm gonna let the oil filter drip, and I'm gonna take the sump plug out also, because you get a little bit of, you get about 200 mils once you loosen that oil filter. You get 200 mils that come out of the sump also, so it gives it a nice clean flush, especially because we did the carby clean and we put that engine flush in too. Alright, so I got my little claw tool here. This is the best tool for these oil filters sometimes. So you just position it like that. Maybe you can see that. So that just goes on like that. And you just get your ratchet. So you spin it to the left to loosen it. And that'll grip onto the outer oil filter. And then you just get your ratchet, put it on the end here, and then it should come loose. So I've got the ratchet with the extension, just put it onto the end there, and then we'll just turn. Careful, don't burn my arm on that hot exhaust. And it will just keep turning, and then it will slowly spin off. Right, so now that we got the oil filter loose, we'll just put the this oil catcher back, and then we'll just go ahead and loosen the oil filter. And it will start to slowly drip down. Just got to position it. It will start to slowly drip down a bit of oil. To the catcher there. So lucky I had my my plastic sheeting here. So see, that's what I mean. That oil was just from the old oil change, so the previous guy didn't degrease it. If you leave it like that, that's gonna smoke up when you start the car and start driving. It'll just burn off. So I'll show you what I mean by you get a little bit of you get about 100 mil or around 50 mil around there of excess oil once you loosen the filter. So that'll just keep dripping down. Just let it drip for a bit. Alright, now that that's finished dripping, I'm just going to take the oil filter off. This is the messiest bit. especially doing it on your back. So it should just be spinning off. No oil coming out. Yes. Alright, oil filter's off. So we'll just go ahead now, wipe down where the new oil filter is going to sit, and then we'll just degrease all this, tighten up the sump plug, and then we'll just put the new oil in. Alright guys, we've got a bit of a problem here. So that's the old oil filter that I took out. It's a Cooper's WZ79, and this is the new filter that was given to me by the auto parts store. It's a Chinese filter, you know, SL oil filter, aftermarket WZ547. I opened the packaging and I noticed that it was a lot smaller than the original one that I took out. So, and it's also a different shape. So I couldn't find much information about it, but I'm pretty sure that it is the wrong filter, even though that it's aftermarket. So it could be for another Honda motor, but not the D16Y1. Alright guys, just back from the auto parts store. Luckily they had a good old Australian Ryco oil filter, Z79A. So it is the right one for the car. Just open it up. So straight away I can tell it's the same size, the holes are the same, the size, everything's the same. So yeah, you get what you paid for. I tried to go cheap, but yeah, just pay a little bit more for peace of mind. Get the right one. We don't want low oil pressure and then the engine start knocking, and then we're in for a new engine. So do it once, do it right. Alright, so we got the new Ryco oil filter here. Just take the plastic off. Right, so the seal here, it doesn't have any lubricant on it. So what you do, you can put your finger in here in the new engine oil and just lightly coat it. Just so that the seal's not dry when you put it on, just a little bit, because if you go to tighten it, you can kink that seal. Alright, so we've oiled the seal up a little bit, not too much. So we'll just go in and put it in the engine. Just going to give the mating surface another wipe down, just in case. Make sure it's all clean. Just grab the new filter. Just wriggle it around, make sure it sits on. So that is on. Just do it till it stops and quarter turn. Alright, it doesn't have to be super tight. Just till it stops, and then yeah, just a quarter turn. You don't want to snap that thread, then you got real big issues. Alright guys, so the new oil filter's in, the sump plug's on. I'm going to jack it down and put the fresh engine oil in now. Alright guys, so the car's safely on the ground now. Time to put engine oil into the car. If you don't know how much engine oil goes into your motor, you can go onto the Penrite website. So today I'm using the Penrite engine oil. So you just get your phone, go to the Penrite website, and then you just choose cars. You know, Honda, my Civic, year model 1994, you know, 1.6, and I got my D16Y. Because engine oil here is 3.3 liters, so I've got to put 3.3 liters in this thing. Now we'll just put the cap on and we'll just give it a start. You'd rather have a little bit less than a little bit more, because you can always add, you can't take out. So I'll just go start the car. Always good just to check underneath, make sure that there's no engine oil leaking underneath before you actually start the car. So we're pretty good. So we'll just let that run for about a minute. We'll let it settle for about a minute or two, and then we'll recheck the engine oil, check the level. Alright guys, so it's been about 5 minutes since we stopped the car. Let's check the engine oil, see if we need to add more or if it's just right. Okay, so I reckon that's bang on there. So pretty good. Yeah, I don't think we need to add any more. Alright guys, so we just checked the engine oil, it's spot on. The only thing left to do now, just to take it around the block, make sure there's no engine lights on and it's driving smooth. Alright, so the Civic's back in the garage now. That's just a simple video on how to do a carby clean, an engine oil flush and replacement filter. So it's pretty much the same on all the cars, apart from the trouble that we had with the distributor coil. Remember, we're just gonna try and restore this car, make it reliable, and then we'll start doing all the fun stuff, because there's no point putting $5,000 into nice wheels and tires and suspension mods if your motor ain't right. So in a couple of weeks we're going to be replacing the timing belt, the alternator, AC and power steering belt. Might even replace the water pump, so I'll show you guys how to do that, and then we can start doing all the fun stuff. So yeah, if you want to see more, like and subscribe, check out my other videos, check out the Evo 8 track build. I've still got plenty of events to cover also that's coming up. Like and subscribe, tell all your mates, and I'll see you guys at the next video.